In today's show, we discuss King versus Prince. Has Andrew been sacrificed to save the crown?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasulo, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you keep it safe and well, and say hi to our audience. Yes, got it in there.
So anyway, I'm not going to do that since he asked me to. Yeah, I don't cave into bullying, and that was clearly bullying. If you recall,
Sure, you've got your wrong definition of bullying, but okay.
No, that's definitely bullying. So I'm not gonna. Everybody, it's Tony's fault. I'm not going to do anything. Today we're saying hello to someone or someones in McAllen in Texas, in the United States.
Hooray! Hello.
U.S. state of Texas, and it's McAllen is the most populous city in Hidalgo County. And I've heard about Hidalgo County for some reason. I don't know. I'm aware of Hidalgo County because there was I suppose you call him a trekker. So what do you call someone who just goes into the wilderness? Hiker, trekker?
Hiker, you would have thought.
For the fun, just for the fun of just
trekking, but they're a hiker, aren't they?
It's amazing. He just he went off into Hidalgo and he found these ancient sort of scratchings on rocks and things, and they all seem to lead somewhere. And I'm talking about scratches from like donkey. I mean, not recently, not recent stuff. And it was quite amazing how people had sort of got halfway up a cliff to scratch these things out. And like he was asking, he's like, why? What possible motive could you have to risk life and limb climbing up halfway up a rock for just to scratch out something that no one would see? Well, I don't know. So anyway.
Was the landscape different, perhaps?
Who knows?
It wasn't quite as high as he maybe found it at this time. Could have been higher up, lower down, that sort of thing. So for the people who did do the scratching in Hidalgo, they could have been closer to the top, or vice versa. The landscape could have changed. I don't know.
Who knows?
Just a hypothesis. But anyway,
hello to them.
Welcome.
And my question.
Welcome from Texas.
Oh yes, welcome. I beg your pardon. Welcome.
Keep listening. Please listening, liking, and subscribing to the show. Please continue to do that. Yes, indeed. Right. Thank you.
And Taya's question time. Question. Do you realize that you cannot be the voice in your head? You can't be the voice in your head because if you were, you wouldn't need a voice in your head.
That's actually a very, very profound, insightful comment and statement, actually.
And the gentleman who was talking about this, a scientist of some sort, said if you think about it, the voice in your head is there to warn you. It tells you stuff. It begins as a warning. Oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you. So it's a warning signal or system or something. They don't really know what it is. It's interesting. Anyway, so that's the question.
Actually, because you think about it, but then again, that can't necessarily always be true.
No, not always. No one said always.
Well, yeah, but I'll give you an example. Have you ever talked to yourself when you're about to do something?
Not yet. I think it comes with older age. I know I'm cracking on a bit, but I haven't quite got there yet, pal. No, I don't know.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you must talk to yourself. Encourage yourself as well. If you're about to do something, come on, I can do this.
I don't.
So self-talk. You don't do it. Oh, no. It must be just me teaching my clients that. It's a good way to keep yourself on track by talking to yourself because you're listening. But you say the right things to yourself and you take it on board because your subconscious is listening. But I like that idea. The voice in your head is not you. Otherwise, yeah, I'll have to look into that. I quite like that. Do you know who said it? Who was the person that said it?
I'll try to figure it out during the show. But I can't. I mean, you know me. I get these things from down from you videos. It's very hard to keep track of what I've listened to, but it was from a video of some sort, and it was talking about how the voice in your head isn't you, but it was based on science and
Interesting.
someone's work.
It's a good angle. You never actually consider that because you hear it in your own head, so you believe it's you.
Mm.
But then it's like you can have more than one voice. Like, for instance, let's say there's a donut there. Who's had the little voice in your head go, go on, there it is, you can have that. And the other voice in your head goes, no, 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 remember your waistline. And the other voice goes, come on, it's nice, look at it. Do
Like
you see what I
Bugs
mean?
Bunny.
That, yeah,
Yep.
exactly. It's like the little angel and the devil on the shoulder. So I understood it as it is you, because your brain operates in a manner that actually creates not personalities, because that's schizophrenic, but it does create personalities which are still you. And some people have a whole village in their head of different people. That doesn't mean they're crazy. It's just the way that the mind works inside the brain. But it's a whole clever ball game, and we are going off topic, even though it's interesting, because that's not what we're going to talk about today. We are talking about a topic that you wanted to talk about, and what we're going to discuss today is king versus prince. Has Andrew, we can't call him Prince Andrew anymore because he no longer has the titles, but has Andrew been sacrificed to save the British crown? Now, why did you want to talk about this one?
Because I'm very upset with the way our society is going, and I'm even more upset that I can't find my notes. I'm very, very upset
That's pretty
with,
easy.
with the
I
way
can imagine you
society,
being upset.
yeah, with the way society is going. Oh my God.
So what was your primary concern? Why were you upset? Let's talk about that initially. So,
Because, because, look, I'm one for law. I'm a law and order man. I've always said I'm a law and order man.
yep,
Law and order is properly predicated on due process.
yep.
And I don't see any evidence of due process here with the way that, to me, the royal family, well, I'm not even going to blame the royal family. I'm so sorry. In this particular instance, I'm really going to have to say I'm not pleased with the way that the crown has dealt with the situation. It does seem to me as if the crown has simply thrown Andrew Mountbatten Windsor under the bus for the sake of expediency. And that's about it, to be honest. And I find that reprehensible and disgusting.
Well, it's a constitutional crisis when someone of that magnitude within the royal family is accused of something, scandalous. Let's be honest. It's not like he did something which was small. He's being accused of something quite major, and the association with a convicted paedophile hasn't really done his cause any good whatsoever. So he's been done for association first off. But had there not been any photographs of him and the alleged Virginia, you can find her name online, but she's unfortunately passed away now. But he was claiming badly that he didn't know her, and the excuses that he brought forward were awful. Let's be honest. And he really sort of put himself in jeopardy by doing that ill-fated interview, which was on the BBC Newsnight programme, which in the end that didn't help to sway the public in his favour. In fact, that made the public distrust him and dislike him even more, believing that he was in a position of privilege and he abused that position.
The problem with that, ah, ridiculous. It was in the wrong place. The problem with that is you're not addressing my problem, my argument. My argument is all about due process. Now, look, I'm not on Andrew's side. I'm on society's side. It's it's critical that those who face accusations should face their accuser. We should all remember that they're innocent until proven guilty, which I think everybody seems to have forgotten about when the hashtag Me Too movement began. Since that principle just went out the window. An accusation is now the same as being convicted. It's too important a subject to be left to the whims of expediency. So I'm not a happy camper here. If the guy is guilty of something, we need him to publicly own up. And if he won't publicly own up, we need him to be in court. So we can prove it. So the way for him to have gone quietly and honorably is to have just made a short statement, something like, I regret past mistakes. You don't have to actually just come out and say, yeah, I was guilty of X, Y, Z. But you can couch it in terms where it's, I was younger and I made some silly mistakes and I'm truly apologetic. I apologize to His Majesty. I apologize to my family. I apologize to the country. Blah blah blah. Blah. I voluntarily give up my thingy, and I'll just quietly, go off into the night. That's fine. You've said you were guilty. So okay, Tyre doesn't have an issue there. But the man says he isn't. He isn't. Man claims he's innocent. And some people are saying, oh yeah, but he paid hush money. This is the biggest problem. This is the biggest mistake people make in their entire lives. You pay hush money, it gives the appearance that you're guilty.
Exactly.
Whether you're guilty or not, you're telling people to shut up. Okay, you know what? Because advisors will come along and say, you know what? Just all she wants is money. Just pay her some money and she'll go away. So the problem is this: you pay that money, you're going to look like there was a reason you paid the money. You've got to fight this thing. I can't remember which actor did that. Said no, I could easily pay. Well, we're going to. Who was that actor? I'm going to try to remember.
Johnny Depp.
No. It wasn't Johnny Depp. Or someone else. I'll remember. And said no, I'm not. It's a sting operation, and I refuse. We'll go to what come hell or high water. We'll have to show this in court. That's the way to deal with this, because you pay, you look guilty.
Right. The point being, he is part of a bigger institution, which is the monarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if he, now that he's been taken out of the monarchy effectively, now wants to clear his name, now he can do it. But he can't do it while he was in the monarchy, because the royal family couldn't afford him to do it, because the scandal affecting him, whether he's innocent or not, is affecting everyone in the royal family. And it would not survive had he gone to court whilst he is a member of the royal family, because the media would have scrutinised everything. It would have had to go, under oath. And even if he was innocent, all the detail about him and Epstein and all that, by association alone, would have tarnished the royal family. And there's no way there would have been a comeback from that. And it would have been the end of the monarchy. Now, could the British government allow that to happen in itself? There's debate whether they want it or not, but it certainly brings in a lot of money to the British estate. So could they have allowed one person who's in the royal family to bring down the whole royal family, despite it being the right thing to do? So in a way, whatever happened Whether he's innocent or guilty, he was a dead man walking. Let's be fair here, because he's in a position of privilege. So no matter what, he was on a downer. Now think about it when we look at members of the parliament, for instance. When there's some issue happening to them, they don't fight it as an MP or a minister. They step down, don't they? They step down as their role as a minister, and then they try and clear their name when they're no longer a minister. So they're not tarnishing the government, because the government can say with conviction, this is an MP, this is nothing to do with us. He's not part of the executive. He's trying to clear his name, but he's no longer with us. So MPs of many persuasions have written a letter of resignation to the Prime Minister because they've not done something right in the eyes of, the ministerial code, stepped away and then tried to clear their name if they were innocent. Andrew is in a similar scenario. Because he's in such a high-profile position, he was never going to survive this. Because of the claims he made, well, that Virginia Guff made against
Jeffrey, but it's not spelled the way you think. It's spelled Giuffre.
Jeffrey. Because of the pictures that she managed to show that they met, and he was denying that, straight away that tarnished him as a liar in the eyes of the public. Because he denied it. Oh, I don't know, I never met her. Oh, God, what was this photo then? And then they even tried to poo-poo the photo. Come on, man. You're caught with your hands, your hands down. With your hands down, your pants down. And you can't now deny it. You could just put his hand up long ago and said, okay, she wasn't underage. She wasn't trafficked either. She was basically... Anyway, that's a separate story.
See, the thing is this. The thing is this. I have a little bit of sympathy for him because my memory for faces really sucks.
Yeah.
And I can imagine myself in that situation saying, because going by the name, I go, huh? Never met her.
Yeah, of course.
And even when if you show me a modern picture of her, I'll go like that and go, I don't know who the hell this is.
Who you are? Yeah.
And then you show me a picture of the surface guy, I go, oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I may have met her. He meets thousands of people. I give him that. Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, I go, oh, okay, yeah. Well, it didn't mean anything to the point where I can't ever remember. Even I'm looking at the picture and it still doesn't jog a memory. So
okay. Let me ask you a question, and I'll ask any red-blooded male who's listening to our show now.
I don't think I like the implications there, but okay.
No, okay.
What the hell are you trying to say, man?
You're telling me if you've had sexual relations with a member of the opposite sex, you will not remember that?
Well, 30 years ago. 35 years ago. Dude, how's a busy young man? I be expected to remember everybody. I put a leg over. Some of them are, I shouldn't be saying this in public.
This is going out to all over the world, remember?
Many years ago, yeah, times were different. I wasn't a stable married man and all that sort of thing. God, definitely not going to be able to swear, hand on heart that, yeah, I did or yeah, I didn't. It's like, yeah.
Hold on. I get it. You never remember names. You never remember faces. But if someone showed you a photo with you and the person, you'd look back and go, oh yeah. And those memories...
I'll get false positives too. So I wouldn't trust my memory. Because I could even get false positive. You can show me a picture and I go, oh yeah. Yeah, I think we, not sure, but, she seems all right. Could have been. And so that's a false positive. So if you show me someone and go, no, you definitely did, I'd be like, I'm not even going to argue. It's like, yeah, okay, I did. Sorry, man. What's the freaking problem here? That's maybe what he should have said. What's the freaking problem, man? She was whatever. Well, if it wasn't legal, then there's no problem. It was just jog on. Just not my issue, man, because I wasn't in that headspace. Frankly, in those days, who the hell was? This wasn't a thing back then. Now, with little girls, Yes, that was always not a no show. That was always a bad thing. But she didn't look like a little girl. In fact, she didn't even look like she was 17. I thought she was even older in the picture, and I'm really surprised to find out that she was 17. But as I understand it, that would have been legal where they were at that time, if anything actually happened. So he was a moron for the way he handled it. But who says you have to be an expert in public relations? The point is this: is he guilty? Now, if you think he's guilty, and if the woman says he's guilty, is she still alive or she's still gone?
No, she's committed suicide,
Uh,
unfortunately.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she just died of flu. If she had,
No.
wasn't flu.
No.
Oh, all right. Well, anyway, so didn't know that, but it doesn't really make too much uh, difference. It's not germane to the case.
Well, it might be because the stresses that she's been put under over the years, and it just got too
But
much.
we have
Remember,
this.
she was paid off. She was paid. She took a settlement not to go to court. They
I can turn
settled.
that on its head and say that it was a bad conscience that got her then. So that's just not evidence. Again,
She's never said that and kept quiet since. She'd always said that she'd rather have given the money away and let the truth come out.
yeah. Well, you took the money, like just, in the same way that Andrew paid the money. So that makes him look a certain way. She took the money,
But
so
then
that
her
makes her look a
solicitors
certain
would
way.
have encouraged her to take the money.
Someone,
Remember
the Andrew's secretaries and press secretaries and all them, they would have encouraged him to pay. It's up to the individual to be strong enough to say, no, it's wrong. I'm not going to. And I'm still not trying to dance around the issue. My central issue is, look, all I'm saying is we can't operate on he said, she said. We've got to actually try stuff in court if we're not going to get a clear confession. So paying the money had to go along with some kind of public mea culpa. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
We need a mea culpa so that we can then proceed with, well, look, dude, you did this thing. You can't still remain a titled royal, and we're going to do this to you. So all that is due process. We wouldn't have this show because I wouldn't care. But what I care about is that there are instances that the government ever more frequently recently in the West in general, but particularly it seems to be in UK and America, the government is just going off on one and it's just basically acting without due process. I don't like the way this thing was with his friend, someone called Yang Taobao or Taobo. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, the Chinese spy.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Who subsequently, yeah, he was a friend and then subsequently discovered was had links to the Chinese government.
He had links to the Chinese government. He's a businessman. Nigel Farage was a businessman who had links to the British government. People have links to. What's a link to a government? You know someone in government, and
That's the political way of saying he was a spy. That's all.
I've never heard that expression before. I
Yeah.
know. Look, what's his name? Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I think he may have quarreled with the orange face now, but I mean, you could still say he has links to the U.S. government. What big businessman doesn't have links to a government? Seriously, if you're a successful businessman, and when I say successful, I don't mean small timer. You got $1.5 million in the
doesn't
bank.
look good when a high-ranking member of the royal family is, in quotes, dealing with someone who, at best, has links with the Chinese government, at worst is an actual spy for the Chinese government, or something in between. It still doesn't bode well because it's image. It's all to do with public image. And the monarchy relies on public image to survive. If it in any way is tarnished, the reputation of the monarchy is hit, and they will lose influence and money. They're only in existence because of the influence they can provide to the public, and the public listen and follow and admire them from afar. But if there's scandal there, there'll be uproar, as there was in Andrew's case, because even though he wasn't convicted in a court of law, because he even though he pushed out the civil case by paying the money that he did, which then sort of implicated him anyway. The whole point is that the scandal would be too big. It's reputational damage, because, like I said, even if it had gone to court and he got his day in court, he could have had to release information that was embarrassing for the British government, certainly for the monarchy, but even for the British government, because of his links to the Royal Navy, for his links to other organisations. Because even though he may have been innocent, because we don't know 100% because he didn't go to court, the fact by association, he's been made guilty by, the court of social media or public domain. And there was a big call from a lot of the companies, the charities, the military regiments, etc., who had him as the head of their relative organisations, or he was an ambassador, blah, blah. All of them were calling for his removal as a patron, because it was giving them a bad name. So charities, for instance, that had him as a patron, they didn't want him anymore, because he was bringing them down. People were no longer giving them charity money. They couldn't survive because of him. So it has a knock-on effect. When you're in the public domain, I know we like to say the rules should apply to everybody equally, but I suppose a certain group of people that are so high profile, those rules don't quite apply the same to them as they would to everybody else. Hence why he needs to step down, almost become a regular member of society. So he's lost his titles, lost his property, lost everything. And he is literally, an ex-royal. He now has to clear his name, if he can. But I still don't think there's any retribution, any comeback for him. All he's doing is for his own pride, if that's what he wants to do, to clear his name. But he ain't coming back to the royal family now.
Okay, so that's your position, and this is mine. My position is that I want a monarch. I want my monarch to be firm, resolute, and of extremely clear-cut, black and white principles. I've always said that the principles are framework, and frameworks are not malleable. You can't have this principle today and then not tomorrow, and then reinstate it again another day.
What principle are you referring to?
Sorry?
What principle are you referring to?
Habeas corpus and due process.
It doesn't apply.
Okay.
Not to them.
Okay, so I think habeas corpus should apply to everyone, because I think that's what makes the law fair. Because the opposite of it is, today it's a royal, it doesn't apply. How long is it going to be before? I know you're going to say no. But how long is it going to be before you say, well, black people are immigrants to this country. It's not quite the same thing. There's just a little bit of difference. So we can just, shave it like this. Look, you start shaving things, it's not the thing. Habeas corpus is every man. It didn't say every non-royal.
But
you're
not saying I didn't say he couldn't get his day in the sun in court.
Yeah,
it's
but you can't. He's innocent
until
proven guilty. But you're punishing him, and he hasn't been proven guilty. You say that it's inconvenient for the royal family.
It is inconvenient.
Exactly. Well, and then you do know what you have to do.
One person is not bigger than the royal family.
Well, apparently one person is bigger than the royal family, because the royal family decided to kick out their own to supposedly protect themselves. I don't know about you. You seem to be on one of the people who go like, yeah, okay, the royal family behaved well. I'm the opposite. They've lost standing with me. They didn't stick up for their man. You can't stick up for your man. Who are you going to betray tomorrow? The country? Where are your blooming principles, man? Principles mean you don't throw it out because it's inconvenient. A principle isn't a principle when it's convenient. A principle is a principle when it is inconvenient.
Okay.
When your family's reputation and income, when that is on the line, we will now know whether you have principles or not. That is when we will know. And
It's
that is what
interesting
the
that you've
king.
brought up family, but let's say, for
No, you did.
instance,
I'm responding to you. What are you talking about, brother?
okay,
Family?
no, but you've just mentioned it now.
Yeah,
You've
I'm
just said
responding to
family.
you. I'm
So
responding to your use of the word family. I'm not
Yeah.
bringing it up.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that the king's family, the royal family, that they saw that, oh, this could be dangerous to us. Well, that's exactly when we want you to dig in and show us your principles. That would be more. That to me would bring more honor to you because you said, look, sorry, this is the case. Now, the king wouldn't have said, I'm protecting him no matter what, which would have been wrong. The king would have said, you deal with him properly with habeas corpus and all that, take him to court, prove it, and I will punish him. I'm here. All I'm asking you to do is just to treat
You're
him
bringing
the way
the
you treat.
monarchy into disrepute no
No, you're
matter
not.
what.
You're
Yeah,
actually
you
making
are.
certain that everybody understands that no matter who you are, as the king, you will protect them. That's what you're doing. You're saying he's my brother, but I do it for Joe Blogs. I will do the exactly same for Joe Blogs, for Tony Fasilo, for that loud guy in Northampton. I'll do it. I'll do it for anyone. That's how you prove that we can trust you because it's not easy. But you're saying that,
But
no, let's
he
take the easy way
agreed. The
out.
thing is, Andrew didn't fight it.
Well,
He agreed because he realised that his personal situation wasn't greater than the institution of the monarchy.
I don't agree with you. As far as I understand it, he got a letter telling him to naff off. Now he got a letter. We're going to fight. You can't run up to Buckingham Palace and see your brother and start going blah blah blah.
Okay, do you believe then that the king should have kicked him out, kicking and screaming? That would have been a bad look, surely.
How do you mean? I don't understand where that question came
Let's
from.
say he said to him, "Look, you're bringing the House of Windsor down with your acts. Now you're saying you didn't do anything, but clearly there's no smoke without fire here,
No,
and
that's
there's
not true.
well,
There's often smoke without fire.
there's certainly no. There's more to the story. Maybe he's told the king more than is in the public domain. Hence
I
why
was waiting for you to. I was waiting for you to say that.
yeah, exactly.
Paul
You're not going to know everything.
Paul Simon wrote a song, and he said, and in that song he went, incidents and accidents, hints and allegations. Well, that's not how the rule of law works. We don't work with. They might have said something because you're
We
just
don't know what
speculating.
went on behind closed doors,
And
do we?
that is no basis, and in fact, that is no basis to conduct public policy. We
It's
don't
not
know
a
what's
public
going.
policy. It's
It is.
monarchy.
But the monarchy is actually the prime. What is it? The epitome of our society. It's at the top of our society. Represents all of us. That's the whole
right.
point.
That's why they've got to be squeaky clean.
But they're not being squeaky clean.
I know, but they're not being-
You're saying that there were incidents and accidents and hints and things and backroom deals. That's not squeaky clean. Squeaky
Hold
clean
on.
is coming out
They
in black
can
and
say
white.
things in private, and come up to decisions. They have to put
If
everything
they're
in the
going to-
public domain.
Then you have to tell, like I said it earlier when we first began. If that's the case, you had to make it clear to Andrew that he had to step up in public and take the mea culpa. You can't just what?
But he
You
didn't
keep
do
quiet.
that, though, did he?
Well, in that case, then they should be kicking and screaming into a court of law. That's what he should have done.
Well, I think, obviously I don't know this, the fact that he took it on the chin, he didn't go out
He didn't have
fighting.
my counter to you is that he didn't take it on the chin. He didn't have a choice. You can't say, I'm not going to leave the house.
I think he would have said a piece saying, look, I didn't do it. It wouldn't have been just a straight, oh, I'll just accept it all, because that means that's almost condemning me as being completely guilty. But I think in the public's eye, no matter what he did, he would never be trusted because of the association with Epstein, period. If he had conducted, because obviously the way that the public will work, they'll look at the situation. She's come forward saying that she was abused by him on 3 different occasions. we're not saying that she's totally. We don't know if
What
she's
was her name
totally
again?
innocent here. Sorry,
What was her name?
Virginia Goffey or whatever. Guff. I
Yeah,
think
no, I
it's
can
how
spell
it's.
it Jeffrey. Funny enough,
Okay.
Jeffrey.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm still of the opinion he's got to be squeaky clean. He's in the public eye, and he wasn't. He's royalty, and he wasn't. So he's almost the king had no choice. He was like a dead man walking because of his situation, because he'd brought controversy to himself. He brought controversy to the monarchy, and his position was untenable. So it wasn't because the royal family had to get rid of him to save the institution. They had no choice. They had to just, it became too toxic. They had to get rid of him. And so now, like I said, if he now has lost all his titles, he can go and clear his name now. Less people will care. He's not part of the monarchy anymore. So go clear your name, fill your boots. If you're innocent, like you say you are, off you go, clear your name. Now he can go into court and clear his name if he is that innocent. But to me, from the outside, obviously I don't know all the detail.
Well,
We can come up with an opinion on the situation,
oh, sorry.
and we come up with an opinion.
I was just reading. I was just reading
What?
an allegation, and I got to this line, and I just went, oh, because I
Oh,
was like, oh, all right, that's kind of strong.
go
But,
on. You might as
um,
well say it now you've read it.
yeah, okay. So apparently, this Jeffrey woman
Yeah.
and Andrew met, if you catch my drift, 3 times, and I'm thinking about the first time it was at a Belgravia residence in London, posh area, if you happen to know it. Around about Hyde Park area, if you happen to know that area. And then the second time it was at Epstein's, somewhere at Epstein's. What does it say?
His island?
It doesn't actually. It was the second time. Anyway, whatever. It's well, that's not what made me go. Oh, it was. Oh, okay, yeah. The second encounter with Andrew allegedly happened at Epstein's New York mansion. And then stated that the third encounter was at an orgy.
Oh,
That's what that's that's what I went like. Oh, okay. Bit strong. I didn't think we were going to be in that kind of territory.
wow.
That's yeah. So anyway, seems to have been a good time had by all. I'd have thought, and you stand up and say, "Yeah, I had a good time." It was, was that summer of '76. Oh, what
You
a,
keep bringing that up, the summer of 76.
you had
That's
to
a
be there,
theme in the
pal.
last few shows. What?
You had to have been there, summer of '76. It wasn't. I'm not, and that was just me being me. Okay,
Okay.
I don't know when it was that these people met, but basically that was the way out. Yeah, bro. He says to King Charles, "Yeah, bro. You should have been there, man. Wow, there was dames, there was
No.
booze, there was money. I mean, and I was
Oh,
young. What the hell do you
dear.
expect me to do, man? Yeah, but you're a prince. Well, even a prince has got to let his hair down.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they
So
can't. There's
I'll go,
standards you got.
go in front of the cameras, and I'll spill the beans, which is the good time was had by all. If there was some kind of private arrangement between Epstein and her, I wasn't aware of it. I just thought she liked me. The hell? That's
Well,
it.
maybe that is part of his case, but
Ah, so
it
that's
could,
it.
but it could be that in a court of law. Imagine going to a court of law, right? And you've got some of these really clever barristers who are there to defend the plaintiff. I mean, they're going to have him on toast. Let's be honest, because they could ask really pertinent questions that he would have to answer under oath, and you're further dragging the monarchy in the ringer. I mean, the British government would be embarrassed by it, let alone the monarchy, so they would not allow it. There's certain things that they just would not allow, and to undermine the monarchy in this way it's just, it's just no. Even the British government may have pressured the king against, sorry, Your Highness, but Your Majesty, you've got to do something about your brother. He cannot, this is not sustainable. He's bringing down the monarchy. He's embarrassing the whole institution. You can't. He's got to go. And I reckon if that was said to Andrew and said, look, the decision is the government have put pressure on me. Obviously they fund us. If you don't step down, I'm going to have to force you out. And, you've just got to accept it with tail between your legs and just, that's it. Your reputation's in tatters. You should never have done the interview on Newsnight. No matter what the pressure, you should never have done it, because all you've gone and done, which he had, was made himself appear aloof, distant, uncaring in the public's eyes. Rather than clearing his name, he actually made the situation worse.
Yeah, well, so my point is, that's not justice. Justice is every man having his day in court. So you call him and you don't say exactly what you said. You say something like it. It's a parallel thing, which is you tell him, clear your name in court or give me a mea culpa in public. Do one of the two. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. It's one of the two. If you're guilty, I want a public mea culpa.
Yeah, but if he'd have done public mea culpa, my fault, he would have had to still step down. You can't.
Yeah. I'm saying you're going to step down. So if you
why avoid the mea culpa? Why you just avoid it?
Because if you do a mea culpa, we can still look after you. Now you can't really be titled and all that, but you'll be welcome for Christmas dinner. But if you
will he?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, my fault. Yeah, I did have the orgy. What?
Yeah, what's the matter with an orgy, man? Come on.
No, come on.
No.
You can't. No.
What do you mean? No.
Look, no. There's nothing wrong for you and me. Not to say that's it, because we're members of Joe Public. But for royal family, if it ever got out, no, he's too high profile. If he was like fifth or 20th removed of the royal family, it wouldn't matter so much.
I don't know if you're being deliberately. Are you being deliberately obtuse, man? You remember what? Do you know what the hell which of the Georges was it? George the Fourth?
Dude, talk about it. They didn't have TV back then. They didn't have social media back then. They didn't even have scrolls. It was just rumor in the street. They had no newspapers. Come on.
Do you know what? Do you know that his parties were so boisterous that someone said, I think it was, oh my God, what's his name? That playwright, the Victorian playwright, who had a way with words. It was not that it's. I'm just trying to help you to remember. No, Victorian. I said Victorian playwright. Oh. He was a homosexual and he got ran into problems. Died young. £1 million note was his, wasn't it? The story.
Oh.
Things like anyway. He came up with this. I believe he came up with this fantastic turn of phrase. He said. What did I have to say? Imagine the imagination-defying phrase, an unimaginable orgy. That was your King George, man. It defied that. When you try to imagine, what's an unimaginable orgy? You just get stuck. I can't do it, man.
Yeah, but the point is, even him, he wasn't at the orgy.
Who?
That guy who wrote about it.
No, you just heard,
Yeah, exactly.
So we too, we're just hearing about it, and no pictures of anything.
Yeah, I know, but the point is,
just
social media. We're doing a program on it, for goodness sake. Our listeners, thousands of them around the world, are going to be listening to this, and I dare say, it's not
90% of them are wishing that they had been at the blooming orgy, so they can actually miss me with their fake outrage, which is what it is. Because a lot of, what is it, Douglas Adams, remember in his Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, what the scientists that really hated being left out, what they really hated was being left out of all the good stuff. That's what really upset them, So I think a lot of this is envy, because it's like, what? The guy was a prince, and now, if there are other things that he you see, where it gets serious and stop laughing about it is, did he open himself up to pressure?
From whom?
Well, remember that supposedly there were a lot of hidden cameras in Epstein's.
Yes, maybe he was blackmailed, or
In
there
fact, that's
could
why
have
we're not
been
releasing
even
the
worse.
Epstein files
Well, there's
because
so many reasons. Yeah, it could
and
be that.
supposedly that's why Israel can basically just swan around in the White House because they've got the goods and everything.
That is probably why the Epstein files are not released. Yeah,
And
you could be. You could
apparently,
be right.
I don't even know. Have you heard this story? Like, this is a bit of a what's it called? A
Side
digression.
track. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Have you heard that Putin said, "Oh, if they can't find the Epstein files, they're happy to let them have a copy." So at the end of the day, I'm sitting in the family thinking to myself, has everybody seen the goddamn Epstein files
Except us.
apart
Yeah.
from me? That shows how low I am on the totem pole, man. I'm just going to be the last person to get my hands on the filthy file.
Oh
I'll probably
man.
tell you. I say, hey, psst, Tony, psst, listen, you'll never believe this. I got my hands on the Epstein files, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I got that last year, man." Sorry, I thought you got it. I know I did. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know. So
Oh dear.
okay. Back to the business at hand. No, you haven't convinced me a jot. I've got two ways out. One is public mea culpa. The other is a
Day in
court case.
court.
Solid, yeah, a day in court. It's up to him. Which way does he want to play it? But he's got to be one of the two. We can't. Nothing has been resolved. He's gone. But I don't think the king comes out of this looking any good. He's to me. You seem to be okay with it. To me, he seems weak because he just
No,
caved.
this wasn't.
And
This was not. This was
to me he
a
caved. He
consequence of
caved.
what happened. It wasn't a sacrifice of Andrew, which is the title of our show and the question we're asking. It wasn't a sacrifice. It was a consequence, and it is his own brother, but he's had to get rid of him. And I think that shows strength because he's realised that the his duty to the country is greater than his duty to his brother. That's how he's viewed it. So he's had to take a difficult decision. Granted, it could have been from pressure from the British government as well, but he's had to then sort of get rid of his brother essentially, and do that because he's had to put the king and country before his family. So it wasn't a sacrifice; it was a duty that he had to keep the integrity of the monarchy, and so doing, his brother, unfortunately, had to pay the price. And I think his brother understood that because, let's be honest, Andrew realised that the noise around this scandal was so huge, considering the Epstein files and Trump's name in it and all the rest of it, and then his name was released again and his association with Epstein. It's made it so much bigger than it would otherwise because he's been caught lying. So that then undermines him because of some of the things he said in the Newsnight interview, which then subsequently came back to bite him. So he's lied in public to cover himself. So straight away, in the court of the public domain, everyone thinks he's a liar. So what else has he done? And
Yeah. So
there's doubt.
I think that's very strong. I wouldn't like to say. I wouldn't like to say that he was caught lying. I prefer to say that he was caught contradicting himself. I think that's a safer
Okay.
way of putting it. He was caught contradicting himself, and yeah, that doesn't paint him in the best. So he did two things. One, he paid the money when he shouldn't have, and two, he was caught contradicting. Not contradicting himself, but he was caught saying things that weren't factually correct when he said
Yeah,
he didn't
okay.
meet the girl.
Is it a lie if it's not factually correct?
Sorry.
Is it a lie if it's not factually
Well,
correct?
well, I'll tell you why you have to say it like that, because it could be, if you want to be generous, it could be that it was an unintentional mistake.
Yeah, okay.
So
Fair
if it's a
enough. I
mistake,
accept that.
it's a mistake. He didn't mean to. So that's why I'm saying whilst the jury is out, we just play a little bit carefully. We say it wasn't accurate. It was inaccurate. So if we can prove that actually he remembered it very well. I mean, by the way, I didn't know that he met her 3 times. I thought it was just the once.
No.
But if he met her 3 times, I mean, you'd have thought that she was sensational enough for him to remember her. So,
Yeah, exactly.
But all faces would have kind of faded in and out if there was. Now, let me just say,
don't.
I'm
Go
about to totally, completely, and utterly theorize here. I'm not even going to talk about this case. You know what? For safety reasons, I'm leaving off this case now. And I'm
Okay.
saying,
What do you mean
imagine
for
a
safety
situation
reasons.
for because I don't want to, for security, as Nigerians love to say, for security reasons. So for security reasons, I'm going to postulate about a person. We don't care who that person is. Some person attended a rather spontaneous party. Let's put it like that, okay? Years ago, under the influence of various substances of incredible interest and different, mind-altering,
Okay.
what do you call it? Mind-altering
Drugs.
traits,
Drugs.
effects. Yeah, mind-altering effects. So alcohol, mind-bending substances ingested, lots of it, and this hazy, wonderful paradise type occasion where everyone felt like a god on Mount Olympus, eating grapes and drinking cornucopias of wine and banging their brains out. And then you're trying to ask me, do I remember this one specific person? Well, no. Duh. I mean, on a night when I had like 6, 7 different partners, no, I don't remember anything. But just remember it was
Is that
fabulous.
becoming of a member of the royal family in a position
No,
of
that's a completely
influence?
different argument.
Well,
So that's
is it?
completely. And
Your
by the way, the person I was
responsibility.
talking about hypothetically, how do you know it's a member of the royal family? So
No,
that's why I said
I'm
it was a
saying-
hypothetical.
Okay. If that was a hypothetical example, and if it's anybody, then fine. They're not in a position of standing. They might be in the public domain, fine. But they've not got a whole big institution that's relying on them or influenced by their actions. And this is the
I don't
challenge.
think because you're a royal means you can't go to an orgy when you're young. Is that what it means?
Yeah, it does.
Well, then it's not
It
the only
does.
one
The
who should be leaving. Is it easy? There should be another one. Because there are 2 of them then. Right? And those are the ones we know about. And I don't see, look, to be honest, I don't see the point of being a flipping. If I were a royal, okay, my ancient history would make your hair fall out, Tony.
Not that I've got much to fall out, indeed.
Well,
But
that's the point. Yeah, and I would be completely unapologetic. I'd really take the point of view that I'm taking now, that you're just jealous because you weren't afforded that privilege, because it is a privilege, because they're only offering themselves because of who you are. So
indeed.
there's no point. There's no point reincarnating as a prince if you're not going to enjoy yourself.
No,
a bit.
because
Yeah.
you get all the trappings of being a member of a royal family in terms of, let's put it this way, he's not had to worry about money. He's never going to have to worry about paying bills. He's never have to worry about going anywhere and paying public transport, or he's getting waited on hand and foot. He's getting money pouring out of his ears. Wherever he goes, people are in awe of him. So, there are privileges to being a member of the royal family, but then there's responsibilities too on how you behave. And certainly if he behaved incorrectly because of his position, then he was using his position in a wrong manner, wasn't he?
No, I don't agree. I mean, I know where you're coming. I know where you're coming from, and I am not denying where you're coming from. That some people would say, sort of, I don't know, stick in the mud. People would say it's all about you have to behave a certain way. But he wasn't. He wasn't number one. Charles was number one.
It doesn't matter. He was part of the establishment.
He was
firm of
number
the royal
2 or
family.
number 3 and 4 or something.
Yeah.
So he was quite a long way away from it, and he's
He was still
like
one of the crowd, the top people. When the Queen was out on the balcony, he was there. He was one of the,
But at the back,
he went right at the back. And it was a big thing when he got married, remember, with Sarah Ferguson and the kid. I mean, come on. He's one of the big boys. And so that is... He's
He was divorced at this stage, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
When all this happened? Oh, I mean, there was a time when the idea of a royal member of the royal family getting a divorce was itself a cause for them to leave the royal family, to drop their titles. And so times change. So, look, I'm not fussed about it, is what I'm trying to say. So my final position, is it time for us to final position?
No, we've still got 5 minutes or so we're okay for a bit more.
Drat. Because as far as I'm concerned, we're not going to meet, because what we have here is we have two opposing value systems, and we can't argue our way to an agreement, because your values are fundamentally different from mine. You are expecting your royal family to be pristine and all this sort of thing, and I'm expecting my royal family at a certain point in their lives to just be human.
But that's the price they've paid by accepting that role.
We won't agree, because I'm saying that we're all human at the end of the day.
Okay, let me ask you about the ministerial code then. Do you know about that? Right. The ministerial code is a code that's been written up for ministers, and they have to be absolutely squeaky clean. In order to represent us and do so in the government, they've got to be squeaky clean. So their standards that they have to abide by, because they're in the public domain in such a high position, have to be even higher than the standards that Joe Public would have. And we would think, oh, come on, he's human, he's allowed to do that. No, if you're in a minister, you've got to go, your integrity has to be sky high, and the ministerial code says you cannot do certain things. So it's got to be like that for the royal family. And unfortunately, Andrew didn't abide by that as a royal. He tried to act like a member of the public. And unfortunately, you can't do that.
Okay, so here's the difference. When you talk about someone's integrity, I still hold Andrew to the same standard. If he'd been caught taking bribes or something, I wouldn't be quite as laissez-faire as I am. Because to me, we're not talking about integrity. To me, we're talking about shits and giggles, slaps and tickles. That's what we're talking about, which is completely different from shady financial dealings or selling out the country or whatever.
The guy he was getting this slap and tickle from was a convicted paedophile, or was a paedophile.
No, I don't think anybody knew that at the time.
Well, okay. But
who knew that at the time?
It doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? I don't know. Okay, I mean, I don't expect it from you. Now, if it turns out that you were wanted by the Vienna police for blah, 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 and they say, well, Tayo was his podcast colleague for 5 years. It's like, how was I supposed to know? I mean, seriously, how would you? Okay, let's reverse it. I am the one that Vienna police wants to talk to, and then people are saying to you, Tony, but Tony, you should have known. I mean, you're going to be the first person to say, how would I have known? I mean, come on, man. You've got to be really reasonable about these things.
Yeah,
it wasn't in the public domain. He wouldn't have known. Why should he have known? If he did know, and if you can prove
girls,
that he knew,
and this is the point. He's been offered girls. Who offered?
How do you know it was an
girls?
offer? There's so many things I can't even say. Look, dude, it's not. People know people. People know good time girls. So a good time. So you got a friend who knows some good time girls. So, hey, look, Tayo. No, okay, let's just say Tayo. Hey, look, Tony. I've got some friends. You know, you want to party around yours, and you go like, yeah.
You'd be suspicious if you're in that position, though.
Why would I
Straight
be
away,
suspicious?
I can get you a girl. I can sort it out for you. Straight
Haven't
away,
you
you're like,
watched
well, I've
mafia
got a lot
movies?
to lose here. If this turns out to be blackmail, or you always have to think that in the back of your mind. If this turns out to be blackmail or goes south, or someone shouts the 4-letter word starting with R, then it could end up being a really bad position to be in. So he shouldn't have put it himself in that position. Shouldn't
That's where
have.
trust comes in. If you've been fishing with someone and you've broken bread together and eaten salt together, as the Arabs would say, then you know your blood buddies and all that kind of thing, and You kind of trust them. Now, would I, in that position, I don't mind the trust thing, but I'm not going to do it at your house.
No,
That's for sure.
exactly, exactly. It's
That's for
just
damn sure.
stupid. It's stupid.
But
But he's thought, well, I won't get caught here because it's a private place. But unfortunately, the place he's well, anyway, that's a
and
separate
anyway,
topic.
anyway, what he was caught doing again is that what is it? That's why I think he
We
can't even go to court. I mean,
don't know the details, and if that was brought out, and imagine it was worse than what we believe, then
and
that
then it
would
should be
be
brought out. If that was the case, then for everyone's protection, again, due process
well,
has to
yeah.
be brought
Now
out.
he's no longer a royal, then maybe he should do that.
Yeah. So I mean, no, but you don't punish first and then say, okay, let's go to court. I mean, first you go to
Unfortunately,
court
in the
first.
public domain, that happens a lot.
Well, it's
It
not a
just
good thing,
is.
and we can't just sit back and just accept it because it's going to leach. And it is leaching into the rest of society. It's terrible.
Well,
We
what will
we
happen? What happens now on social media when people single out somebody? It happens all the time. They
Yeah,
call
exactly. We've
people
got to we've got to fight back.
paedophiles and all the rest of it, and people get and what? And even people in power saying things about individuals. And now, do you remember the Pizzagate issue? Do you remember that? Where
No.
QAnon, remember QAnon? People
Yes.
of influence started repeating what QAnon was saying, that they were storing kids in the back of Pizza Hut places. And then a guy even went in with a rifle to release the kids in a Pizza Hut store because they believed what the people in power have said. So it matters. People in influence matter what they say and what they do, and the same with Prince Andrew. Right, we've got
Well,
to the
that's
top of the hour. I
one
need
hell
you
of a
to.
segue. Good
I know,
lord.
but you need to
Jeez.
sum up. King versus Prince. Has Andrew been sacrificed to save the
Absolutely,
crown?
absolutely, and it's disgusting. He was not given his day in court, as far as I can see. He wasn't forced to. He wasn't forced to make the only honorable choice between a public mea culpa or having his day in court before he was punished. That's expediency. That's not principle at all.
Well, he was actually given his opportunity to clear his name because it was going to court. If you remember that, it was going to court, so he was given the opportunity, but he chose to settle out of court. He could have gone to court. Remember
No,
that?
that's a civil case. You can't
Well, that's still
settle out of court. You can't settle out of court for a criminal case. And I'm
no.
saying if there's criminal liability here, you should be taken to court for criminal liability.
But the point
A
is, he could
civil
have cleared
case,
his name before he even got
well, he could
anywhere.
have and he should have, but
Well,
he
he
didn't.
didn't because of the noise that would have caught on anyway.
Which, by the way, at that point in time, had His Majesty at that point in time said, "Well, you've paid her off. I'm taking that to be admission of
Admission of
guilt.
guilt, yeah.
Thank you very much and goodbye." Do you know we wouldn't be having this conversation?
Indeed. Indeed. Okay, if you've loved this episode, hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexplained twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tyre, and we are the TNT Talk Show, but unfortunately we have reached the end of the show for another week.
Don't take any prisoners.